Live once again from Ithaca College's South Hill and Ben Light Gymnasium, it's the Ithaca Invitational with Division III volleyball on tap here on Bomber Sports. The Ithaca Invitational is presented by our good friends at Hotel Ithaca, and we welcome you in to the volleyball pregame show before the NYU Violets take on the Swarthmore Garnets alongside Ethan Duncan. I'm Farrell Hudson, getting you set for the third of four matchups on the day. And Ethan, you got an NYU team that's looking to ride high off of a momentous three-set sweep over Smith College. And on the other hand, you look at Swarthmore coming off of what was a disappointing 3-1 loss for them this morning at the hands of the Ithaca College Bombers.
Yeah, NYU also, as we mentioned before, a pretty resounding sweep over Smith. And last night, Swarthmore did fall to Smith 3-1. Swarthmore is still yet to win at a neutral site. Compared to NYU's 2-1 overall, but in the Swarthmore's loss to Ithaca College, it was all Isabel Adams. 23 kills in that loss, along with 2 aces. Just really had to do it all and still couldn't bring it home versus them. And like we said for NYU, number 13, Grace Nelson, the captain, really showed it all in all 3 sets versus Smith, which really helped them get the win. A lot of service aces really prepared them ahead.
Captains step up in big moments and provide that leadership spark, exactly what was exemplary of Grace Nelson this morning. And you also mentioned Isabel Adams. She was really fantastic against Ithaca earlier this morning at Swarthmore's defeat. In order for Swarthmore to avoid a third straight defeat in the Ithaca Invitational, this is a team that's led by Harley Schwastik in her 24th season. A lot of veteran leadership and experience both on the playing and coaching level on that side. What's going to have to change for them going up against a very fast and dynamic NYU opponent from an offensive perspective?
You just got to keep up. I mean, consistency was really what led NYU ahead. We talked about it in that second set, down 11-2 to Smith. Looked like it was going to be a 1-1 set heading into the third. 9 straight from NYU, despite a timeout in between that run. Just able to be consistent. A lot of depth there. A lot of players can really show up when it matters most for that NYU team. And just Swarthmore's going to have to be able to curb that. Also, maybe use their timeouts as needed. I feel like Smith really didn't use them when they was needed to. Like 6-0 run, call a timeout, 4 more points, and you still don't call a timeout, and you lose by, I believe, 4. Just like a lot of missed opportunities there. Like 24 years, veteran head coach, as experienced as it gets, just knowing how to stop this NYU offense. On
the Violets side, you mentioned consistency. An emblem of consistency can be defined by one player. That's Casey Cho. 2 kills per set entering this tournament, 1.38 digs per set, and also a quarter of a block per set, too. From the offensive and defensive side of the ball, she's really been exemplary of an overall 5-tool player. She showcased it earlier today against Smith and against Ithaca last night.
Yeah, she's been excellent today so far, able to stop those Bears. Had a couple of great serves as well. Definitely didn't lead to kills, but led to some discombobulation for those Bears. Was able to get a lot of great digs on some strong attacks by Smith. And like you said, definitely a 5-tool player, versatile, what they call a glue gal in these kinds of sports.
Overall, NYU just incredibly versatile. It's good to see them get back in that category, but what I find most impressive are the way that NYU was able to down Smith. We mentioned it in our game broadcast earlier today that Smith, you can say whoever they want. Okay, maybe they're playing some NESCAC opponents. Maybe they're playing some smaller conferences throughout New England. They've played the most games of any team on their home court, 6-1 at Ainsworth Gymnasium back in Northampton. But overall, that's still a really good team, led by arguably the best coach that we have, the most experienced grizzled coach in this tournament, in Greg Walker over on Smith's end. I think that only speaks to more the impressiveness of NYU, and that leads me to ask you, Ethan, how disappointing do you think this is for NYU, if at all? Should Swarthmore be able to emerge victorious, or do you anticipate we see a bit of a Garnet charge, no pun intended, to Union College for Swarthmore to be able to take the victory in this final game of their Ithaca Invitational? I
think it's really going to go down to that first set. Both teams 6-4 versus 6-5. Like those first sets are really important. I mentioned, I think off the broadcast, Swarthmore nearly upset the back-to-back state champions Juanita, and were up 2-1 in a game they lost. That was their first game of the season. So they are able to match up against strong teams. Like I said, just consistency, kind of avoid the service errors, maybe got to work on their block. I think Smith really struggled to get their block against the Violets. They were able to go through the block and around the blocks, just being able to stack up against that. They're not an extremely tall team like Smith was, but athleticism is going to be huge to stop this high-powered Violet offense.
Yeah, you spoke about Juniata College, who's number 1 in the nation. Yeah. They obviously have those Division III championships dating back in the last couple years. Back-to-back champions for them. Had that 107-game winning streak snapped just the other day, but in that game back at Tarbell Pavilion back on August 29th, that was about as close of a matchup as you could have for the Swarthmore Garnet. That's one thing you can guarantee about this team. 6-5 overall. They're on a 3-game skid, 6-3 at home, so playing a bit of a tougher schedule now being away from home. They've played some other Liberty League opponents that the Bombers will see, like Skidmore and Clarkson in the Phoenix Invitational, but yeah, played about as strong as you could in that game. And even though that loss came in 4 sets to Ithaca earlier, I'd say that was a pretty competitive 4-set loss, Ethan.
Yeah, I would say so. It's just the one thing I'm looking back on their schedule, still haven't beaten a ranked opponent. They fell to Smith, who wasn't ranked, but like we said, has gotten some votes. NYU, although not ranked right now, after that sweep of Smith, maybe sneaks into that top 25 there. But also, like we've been followed to the number 1 seed, fell to Ithaca, fell to like a Wesleyan, a William Patterson University. Here's a real test against a strong violent opponent. I think you're going to have to either win the first one or keep it close. I think after Smith blew that 9-point lead, they sort of crumbled, weren't really able to like build themselves back up. I'm not. If NYU like comes back after Swarthmore was leading for a lot of it, you just got to stay resilient. Can't really let down. Can't really shift the blame or give the blame to any person in particular. Just got to work together as a team and just try and come back.
This is a Swarthmore team that made the Centennial Finals last year against number 3 Johns Hopkins University, yet they don't see any other nationally ranked opponents for the rest of this season, as Johns Hopkins last year was ranked number 3 in the nation, number 4 last week when Ithaca took them down. Do the lack of nationally ranked opponents scare you for the Swarthmore Garnet's case, as not only do they compete in the Centennial Conference, but want to get themselves into the top 25 the rest of this season?
I mean, I think so. I mean, like we've said, like Ithaca is a nationally ranked team. They're ranked 20. Just in this tournament so far, 0-2 so far against a top 20 team, and then a team that's looking in, and then against a tough NYU team that, quite frankly, I might favor NYU after their strong win against Smith. So yeah, no real ranked opponents or anyone on the cusp so far. They've only faced that in this invitational. You could say, oh, they're far from home, but still haven't won at a neutral arena, haven't won the 2 games here, despite strong performances, and haven't even taken it to a 5th set. So yeah, I definitely think there is some struggle here due to the lack of opponents, because even if you're losing to these tough teams, you're still like fighting in it and you're playing these tough teams. If you don't want to get complacent against this Centennial League, I'm not calling it like a Mickey Mouse League, but just not really the strongest so far against these other teams.
On the Violet side of the volleyball, what do you see needing to continue for NYU going off of that strong victory that they had this morning against Smith?
I think service aces were really helpful, just really shot them out to a lead in that first set that they won 25-9. I believe they started like 7-0 off of at least 4 aces in that pocket in the corner from Gracie Nelson. So just starting off strong offensively, avoiding like back and forth side outs, just trying to control the ball, work on the block, and overall just like show that enthusiasm and athleticism that led them to dismantle Smith in 3 sets.
Yeah, certainly a dominating first set, but I look at that turning point in which they were down 11-2 in the second set, had every reason to maybe roll over, let Smith take a set, get it to be a 4-set game to be ultimately decided by, but then NYU was really able to step on Smith's throats. That takes a lot when you open up the Ithaca Invitational, losing 4 of your first 5 sets in a place you're usually comfortable with winning. On the outside looking into the national rankings right now, notably impressive. There will be a lot more coverage to come up here today on Bomber Sports. Coming up, we'll have Nikita Lohman and Anthony Labonte have live coverage of your call to New York University Violets and the Swarthmore College Garnets here on Bomber Sports at the Ithaca Invitational, presented by the Hotel Ithaca. Stay with us on Bomber Sports.
by the way, I'm thinking this side. I don't know.
That's frequently the sentiment that was shared with Dave Parker as well.
Yeah. What?
You look shut up. He's a good guy. I like him.
No, he is a good guy.
He can be a bit of a turn off to some folks, apparently. But
he could be an ass. Like, he could be a real big ass.
Oh, I mean, he was about the owner and stuff like that. We're not paying that.
He would kind of like buck around in the sense of like he'd be like fucking with you, but in the sense of like he's playing it super dead straight, so it's like you think that he's being serious.
Well, that's the other thing. So he was like unintentionally condescending. That's what it was. Let's go, Frank. Yeah, that's right. Hey, and then we watch the Yanks.
Nikita, we're gonna do something real quick. Nikita, we're gonna do something real quick. We're gonna untangle these.
Gotcha.
Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, you're on 2, I'm on 1.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Ball. No, not ball. Ball.
Minute ball.
Oh, don't get me started on ball.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm just thinking all basketball
Ball, in 2K, it was insane.
You know who's insane? It was Gerald Green.
He was.
You know he's actually missing fingers.
Is he?
Gerald Green is at least missing.
Was it from fireworks?
I hope not.
Did he pull a JTT?
No.
I hope he did.
I can't believe that happened. That was crazy.
What, JTT?
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
No, you know who was elite?
Guys.
You know who was elite in 2K?
Who?
Fiondu Cavangeli. Yes, I will keep my my bias.
I was gonna say, that's your guy? That's like your guy.
That's my guy. That's the best guy to never win a ring. You know that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You remember that debate?
I do remember that debate.
Because Evan's a bitch.
Did Evan steal?
Pardon my language. I put down the second the topic came out. I put down Charles Barkley, right? And then I really hope this isn't going on the air because I said that Evan was a B-word. But crap, my shit. But no, I said that I put down Charles Barkley, right?
Yeah.
And then he put down Charles Barkley. They're like, yo, you guys have the same answer. Like, I put it down first. So I was like, it's the first week. I'll let the debater get the thing. And I wrote down Fiondu Cavangeli as a placeholder because I was going to switch it to Jonas Valanciunas because even though he was on that Raptors team when they won the championship, like he was on the team for the start and then left.
And he didn't get enough time to
They didn't give him a ring.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's why I would have put him down, but I was like, but then I forgot and I was like, fuck it.
Fiondu.
Let's look at the Bombers' score right now. It is 31-0. Ithaca Bombers over the Hilbert Hawks.
My 77-0 prediction might come true. Something to think about.
Do you think the Hawks get a safety?
No.
Ithaca 31, Hawks 2. Huh? It wasn't funny. Don't laugh at that.
Wait, I don't even get it.
Hawks 2.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they kicked the field goal. Shucks. Who kicked the field goal? It's the real question now. Caleb Wandell. Are you a big Caleb Wandell fan?
Yep.
Yeah? You love kickers?
I love kickers. Funny story. One time I was with my friend and I was talking about how much I hate being a kicker. And
Why?
just I don't know. It just
What's fry guy?
the pressure and you don't get any credit really.
Yeah, that's true. was Brunner. Or Baldwin. So you're doing 1, I'm doing 2, you're doing 3? Yep. And then I'll do 4, and then we'll flip for 5. Yep. Ball. I would personally suggest pulling out your pen so that you can mark who is starting. Not these people though, they're not starting. Oh no, I might be lying. Might be. They are also starting. I think it's gonna be Ithaca though. Probably.
Who was that last one?
I'm not there.
I don't have it. There was one that I didn't.
Sheridan, Montgomery.
Sheridan, Montgomery. Have to.
I don't know if she's starting or not.
I would guess she is. She started all of those sets.
Doesn't mean she's starting if she hasn't started the game this season.
I'll just not.
Actually, she may be. You know what? I don't care.
It'll be okay.
It'll be fine. Oh, Ithaca College Bombers. So that was their starters. Oh well.
That's okay. We'll.
Alright. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ben Light Gymnasium as Ithaca Invitational Volleyball rolls on alongside Anthony Labonte. I'm Nikita Lohman. As per usual, another battle between two strong teams who come into this contest on different ends of the spectrum for this weekend. Anthony, how are you doing? We've got some good volleyball just a few minutes away.
Some incredible volleyball so far here today. Swarthmore came very close this morning to upsetting the number 20 team in the country, Ithaca Bombers, and NYU. They took care of business against Smith College, looking to continue that streak and maybe get a couple more votes.
Yes, you know, Swarthmore comes into this game with 3 straight losses. They've played it tight, but again, 2 this weekend. They lost to Smith. They lost to Ithaca this morning. And this is a team that, frankly, really hasn't lost a whole lot in recent years. The last 3 seasons, they've made it at least to the semifinal of their conference tournament. And NYU, on the other side, you know, you look and you see 4 losses early in the early going for a team that's generally one of the top programs in the country. It's not really what you expect, but they've got plenty of time to turn it around, and they looked very strong just a few hours ago.
Yes, they did. Once again, they're still receiving votes. Of course, you can't really pin the Ithaca games against either one of these teams. Ithaca is a ranked opponent, but through this tournament, both teams have been looking strong. This is going to be a clash of the titans here between these two programs.
Now starting for the Garnet, it'll be Emily Sun. Alongside her, Isabel Adam, the libero Melissa Iyer, and then on the front line, Kira Miles. As here the first serve is received. The spike is unable to be handled by Emily Sun. So it'll be a kill for Grace Nelson. Nelson, who's had a very strong day so far. She had 8 aces, a team leading 11 kills versus Smith. Continuing to roll that momentum into this one.
And 24 service aces on the season entering today. See how that does into this one. However, right there, service error will go back to the Garnet side.
Melissa Iyer eyed it, but decided to let it go behind that service line. Now it'll be a serve for Nicole Kim. Kim, who has done a great job behind the service line as of late. She has 14 aces in her last 3 games. There's a low liner right there. Nice block met at the net. Keep it in check. They got to bump it over. Received by NYU. And the Violet slams down the Violets. Jessica Spierenberg gets the kill.
Big play there by Spierenberg. And big plays so far for both sides. Just a little bit of errors have been the cause of the point differential. But NYU, these Violets, are looking very strong to start things off.
Spierenberg, her save, she gets hers dug out. And an emphatic slam. That is Coco Barton on that front line with her first kill of the day.
Coco Barton, a New Hampshire resident, the middle blocker, enters the day today with 49 kills, looking to continue that streak.
Some contact along the net, but it is received by the Violets. And the soft touch, flipping it up and over. Casey Cho with the kill.
Casey Cho had the mental awareness to understand that both the Garnet blockers were jumping up right there and just used a little slight touch, pops it over the top, and gets it down in there for the point.
Showing off that finesse. As here, another low liner. Nice diving dig by Iyer. Ooh, solid contact. Isabel Adam got all of that volleyball. Looked like it rocked, I believe, Spierenberg. So a side out goes back the way of the Garnet.
Adam just has a very tough spike we saw earlier today, hoping that Spierenberg is all right on that one.
She will check out briefly as there's a nice diving dig on the back line by Kim. They'll hit it up and over. The bump, the set. Too much mustard on that one from Cho. It'll stick with Swarthmore.
Cho trying to argue that there was a little bit of contact by the Garnet on that. Nothing seen.
And it looks like the libero for the Garnet, Melissa Iyer, in a little bit of some pain, talking things over. You know, this is someone who really does not leave the floor a whole lot. But she will take a breather. Stepping onto the floor in her place will be Zinzi Montgomery.
She's the lone libero for the Garnet team. Now checking up, she was grabbing the wrist. Don't want to speculate on what it is that they're looking at, but didn't look good.
Now actually Ellie Streeper has checked into the game. She will serve here. As that one unable to be handled by the newly into the game Streeper. A kill and a side out. Bring it back for NYU. Back and forth they go here early on. 5-3. It'll be Jessica Ding, the freshman setter, here with the serve. She's third on the team in assists per set. There she gets that one out. Kim, the one to handle it. Adam tries to knock it over, but it's rejected by NYU, and it goes their way. Isabel Adam, who has had a heck of a day. She had 23 kills versus Ithaca this morning, which marked a season high. There's that one. Just a little too strong. It'll go back to Swarthmore. And Anthony, I know you got an up-close and personal look at Isabel Adam and that strong performance this morning. What did you see out of her?
She was all over the floor the entire game, trying to keep her team in business, especially on the sidelines. She was giving a little bit of pep talks to her team in between timeouts. Going to be someone to look at throughout this entire game, both for the mental aspect and the physical aspect.
The bump over the net, trying to set something up. It ricochets off of Topchu and goes out. She was unable to handle it. So the Garnet and Maya Sheridan will continue their touch. They flip it up to the weak side. The touch. It hit off of the net. Cho couldn't get it over. Not enough on it.
Cho so far has only been going with that little tap, trying to hit it over the net, and right there it backfires, having it hit the top and not be able to cross over.
You know, Anthony, it's almost like a pitcher mixing up their pitches. Went to the off speed one too many times. As a nice diving dig from Nicole Kim, but that was Bardu Skade. Unable to handle it.
Unable to handle it there. However, this one is still incredibly tight, 7-6 so far, and Cho will be the one going for the serve.
That's Kim who handles it on the other end. Adam with an emphatic slam. Point for the Garnet.
There's a reason Adam has played every single set that the Garnet has been in this season. That's because she can do plays like that, trying to get those kills, especially as well. She's also good in the serve game.
As there she serves right there. That one, nothing that Streeper can do. It was just on her too quick. It's Stella Dillon with her first kill of the game.
Stella Dillon recognized the situation, saw the two blockers coming in, and decided to hit it right on around to get it down there, and the back line was not ready for it.
Now in is Caitlin Sato. She was the one serving a nice dig right there. They'll have to bump it over. Now resetting are the Garnet. They go to the strong side. No dice there. A nice volley getting going. That one lands in for Bardescape.
Something interesting for NYU so far is that their sets have been pretty far behind the net when trying to go for those spikes and those kills. Something to be aware of, because that gives a little bit more opportunity for the defense to adapt to what's happening.
Yeah, you're really seeing a lot of action around that 10-foot line. As there, you saw something from well behind. That was, in fact, from the back line. Don't think they really intended that bump to go over the net. The Garnet capitalize, and they take the lead. It's 9-8 here in set number 1. That one is dug out. They flip it up, a soft touch. A go back to Inake. Inake paints the right corner of the hardwood and keeps the things alive.
I said this in the game earlier with Swarthmore, but something big is the fact of using those corners. It's a big gamble. You're either in or out, and it's very difficult to control based on how much power you use.
Well, Grace Nelson in right there from the corner. She cashes in with a kill, her second already here in the early going. A few substitutions checking out for NYU. Jessica Ding alongside Stella Dillon. On the serve, it'll be the senior captain, Ava Lansbach. She gets it up and over. Handled by NYU. The poke, the diving dig, that one flips over the net. Another soft touch rejected. Looked like Zinzi Montgomery, who got a finger on it, said, not today. A point for Swarthmore.
Big block there, being able to get those hands up. It wasn't a tough hit by the Violets. However, it was something that the Garnet could use successfully to just get it over the net.
That one executed to perfection. Flipped up and cashed in on by Jessica Spierenberg to bring things back for NYU. They're down 11-10 here in set number 1. On the serve, it'll be Grace Nelson, who, as we mentioned on the opening, has had a tremendous day today, especially in the serving department. Inake is blocked. Casey Cho meets her above the net and ties this one up.
Casey Cho is using that left side of the net as her fortitude there, being able to play back and forth, moving, sidestepping all around and making sure that nothing gets past her.
Nelson with the service error, as that one is a little bit short. Let's say, Anthony, Casey Cho, someone who hasn't always been a main factor all season long for NYU, but we've called her name a whole lot early, and she's been playing a whole lot here at the Ithaca Invitational overall.
Absolutely. Even just in this game, a couple blocks, a couple of tips for the kills. She's been all over the floor on that left side.
Cho, the one to dig that out, but she accidentally gives it a little too much touch, and Kira Miles is there just with a soft drop right over that net. A point for the Garnet.
Kira Miles was a big factor in the first set between Swarthmore and Ithaca earlier on, getting that win for the Garnet. Now looking to keep the win for them in this first set.
A really nice attempt there, Nicole Kim, with the diving one-handed dig. But again, it's Casey Cho putting her mark on this game early on. As now the serve will go to Jessica Spierenberg. Doug on the back line. They're setting things up front. It's Adam, soft touch, it's blocked. Zinzi Montgomery bumped it off of the net, and they couldn't get it up and over.
So far, 18 assists for NYU, 16 for Swarthmore, while NYU has 10 kills on the afternoon.
That one handled by Iyer. Good to see her back in the game. Nice job handling there by Lansbach. They'll set it up to the right side. Adam hammers it. That one hit with enough velo that it hit off of the fists of Grace Nelson and into the crowd here at Ben Life Gymnasium.
She was pointed with her hips out to the left, trying to get the bump, looking to maybe turn it inside to maybe get it over the net. However, just with all that speed onto it, it just went straight into the other side.
Cho from the 10-foot line, it hits off the net and lands out. So Swarthmore, I'd say probably the underdog going into this game, but they are on top here early in the first set, 15-13. As Iyer with the serve. Blocked, that one goes out. I believe that hit off of the hands of Kira Miles and went out to that right side.
That's what you look for when you're trying to get these spikes. Maybe not even just the killing shot, but also if they're trying to block, hit it with enough momentum that it's going to bounce out and get off as a play on them and get your point from it.
Jessica Ding back into the game with the serve. Flipping it up, staying patient was Miles. And it's a violation, in and out violation, and a point for Swarthmore. Some more substitutions. Kira Miles exits. Aiste Bardaskate goes in. Also into the game for the first time is Angelina Hemingway on that front line. It'll be Maya Sheridan on the serve. A nice touch, just sneaking it over the finger roll from Jessica Ding. But that one will not count. It'll be another point for the Garnet as they lead 17-14 and a timeout.
So big service ace there for the Garnet. I think the argument was that the hand was over the net there, causing it to be a point for the opposing side. And right now, Coach Andrew Brown for the Violets, maybe uncharted territory going against an unranked opponent, now having a little bit of an issue of having to come back in this one rather than playing from ahead like seen in the last one.
You know, Anthony, you always have to wonder if when you play such a dominant game like they just did against Smith, 3-0, they handled their business. Really, none of it was particularly close. You have to wonder if there's sort of that letdown. You have all that adrenaline, that happiness, and then you have to play just about 45 minutes later. How would you anticipate that impacts them throughout this game?
I mean, that will be an impact in some sort of variety, you know, just getting winded and being unable to continue as quickly as you'd like to. But you can't just take away from this Garnet team, the Swarthmore team. They were started today off hot, and they're continuing it hot right now. Maybe didn't have the victory in the opening matchup of the Saturday slate, but still looking great so far, and they are going to continue doing that to go for a chance for a victory.
Maya Sheridan still on the serve, handled by the libero Topchu. A little too much heat from the back line spike. And again, the Garnet continue to roll. And
Topchu is one of those players that's just incredible to watch here. She's actually not from the United States. She's from Istanbul in Turkey, being able to come in here and become one of the best liberos for this NYU team.
That one deflected. Another block, a diving dig, and now they'll have to pump it over and reset. The touch, Adam is blocked. Iyer keeps it alive. Hemingway gets it over, but it's handled by NYU. Now Cho will go for it. Ayers there, this one going back and forth. Adam trying to put the exclamation mark. She cannot. Sheridan sets it up. The slam goes down from Bardaskate.
One of the toughest rallies we've seen so far here, and the Garnet was able to just keep on top of it. Maybe it's that little bit of fatigue that we were talking about earlier, but being able to understand the back line and using it to their advantage, pushing through and pushing it to get the kill.
Sheridan with the serve. Trying to hammer one down was NYU, but no luck. Adam gets her shot dug out. The set. Bardaskate is deflected, ricochets towards the right side. Soft touch. Two trying to block it on the front line for Swarthmore, but they had no luck. It's a point going back on the side out, NYU.
The difficulty on that was they went for the block, and you could tell that the second blocker wanted to make sure they got a piece of it. Didn't need to, however, because there was a defender behind them. So by getting a piece of that, it caused the ball to go out of the way of the defender, and no chance for a dig.
And now it goes right back as a savvy play. Nicole Kim recognized. She knows where that back line is. She steps out of the way and gets served back for Isabel Adam. On the right side, blocked. Alexia Inake. She was brilliant yesterday, had 15 kills, a 290 hit percentage versus Smith College. We haven't said her name a whole lot here in the first set so far, but made a play right there.
An All-Centennial first team last season there, but a big play there on the left side coming from Grace Nelson.
Looked like a little bit of miscommunication for Swarthmore. You saw Maya Sheridan tap her chest, say, "My bad." Now, Caitlin Sato in as the libero. She will be serving. Inake dug out. A little bit of a collision there. Does not matter. Grace Nelson cashes it in for NYU as they try to creep back here in the late stages of the first set.
2-point run so far, looking to make it a little bit nicer. I expect, though, if you see something get to 4 points here for NYU, expect a timeout from Coach Schwastek.
A big slam. Grace Nelson wound up. It hit the net. Looked like it may have hit the hand of Bardaskate. Doesn't matter what it hit. All that does matter, it's a kill and a point for NYU. Diving dig there. Set it to the left side of the floor. Now NYU from the middle. The push to the back left corner cashes in.
Just as I said, you hit a 4-0 run. Swarthmore calls the timeout there. And that was just an impeccable usage of placement for NYU. Oftentimes when you use the back corners, you have to worry about how hard you hit them. Think about like when you're playing tennis, or if you're playing some sort of racket sport. You know, you hit it, you don't think you hit it very hard, and it goes flying over the wall. That's what you kind of see sometimes with volleyball, but right there, they're able to understand how much power they have and where to use it for.
Taking you back to the days of Foursquare, maybe pickleball. I know that's been a big deal these days, but yes, that's very well put, Anthony. And we've seen that really both sides. There haven't been a whole lot of errors. It's just been back and forth. These teams have played very well. They're setting up good looks. Some very nice digs. We've seen Melissa Ayers. She was out of the game for a moment, but she's not going to miss a whole lot of time. She came right back in, and it feels like every time there's a big swing from NYU, she's right there to dig it out.
I mean, that's exactly what the point of a libero is to be the all-around player, being able to be that defensive player, to get down, get those digs, and keep your team in it. But now it's all just going to have to see how does the two liberos play against each other, as we still see Caitlin Sato at the serve.
Sato coming into today had only played 3 sets on the season, but she was active in the last game, and here she is again in set number 1. That serve had a little too much on it, goes behind the service line. It's a service error. Swarthmore 3 points away from winning this first set.
Once again, must win by 2 in volleyball, so NYU has to make a run here if they want to get a chance to extend this further.
Trying to punch it home. And it will be a successful kill attempt from Stella Dillon. It ricocheted off of that back line and flew out of bounds. Now, again, the team captain, Ava Lansbach, will be serving. She's played 130 sets in each of the last 2 seasons. Anake is blocked. Getting up there was Sarah Latin. First time we've called her name today. Now it's just a 1-point difference. Lansbach to back line. Adam handles. Bardescate. Now soft touch from Nelson. Iyer and Sheridan team up to keep it alive. Iyer again, a diving dig. Bardescate gave it all that she could, but couldn't save that one, and it's 2-2-2-2 on the scoreboard.
The issue there was just that you hit the ball, the first bump did not go where you expected it to. That offsets your entire team's strategy going into the returns. And for Swarthmore, that was the issue, allowing the Violets to just pick off what they needed and getting the point there.
Adam with the dig. Montgomery up and over with the kill to put the Garnet back in front. They've really led for most of this first set. They've got the opportunity to close it out in the usual 25. Taking the serve, it'll be Emily Sun. Sun, who led this team in aces before Nicole Kim's recent hot streak. Now second on the team. Nelson! The soft touch works this time. Melissa Iyer couldn't quite range over. And it's a side out. Point for NYU.
It's high, 23-23.
And after getting the kill, it'll be Grace Nelson to serve here. Sun with the set. Anake blocked. Iyer there to set it. 2 players going after it. A little bit of a miscommunication. That was Emily Sun and Kira Miles. Isabel Adam tried to punch it over behind the back line, but couldn't get the heat on it, and it'll be a timeout.
That's one where even if there's miscommunication on what's happening, it's something where you have to be able to see, oh, my player is going for this ball, going for the bump for the ball. You also have to have a little bit of faith. You got to have trust in your players, being like, they're going for it, they're going to get it, I don't need to be there. Because what you see happen there is now you got 4 arms in the spot, it flies off in a wacky direction and causes there to be an open opportunity for the Violets to then take the lead.
You know, when you're trying to set up, you can't have unpredictability in where the ball is going to fly. I'm sure that's something that they're talking over. What else do you imagine they're saying at this point in such a late stage of the set?
Don't give up on the things that you've done well so far. Let's talk about 1 second Montgomery. Montgomery may not be a player that we bring up a lot, Zinzi Montgomery. But when Montgomery shows up, when we start mentioning her name, it's because she knows what's happening and she's doing it well. She's able to understand where to make the block, where to go from there, and that's what's been benefiting the Garnet. Keeps things like that. Just be good, be better than the rest at the things that you do well.
They'll try to continue, but they are behind. It is set point for NYU. Grace Nelson trying to close it out and make it 4 straight set wins for the Violets. Anake handles on the back line. Miles blocked. Sun, the set from behind the 10-foot line. It's Adam with the push shot. They'll go to Cho, the soft touch. Miles able to recover. That one will do it. Set number 1 done. It goes the way of NYU. Sarah Latin put the exclamation mark on it.
Very difficult there for the play. However, the thing was is that maybe didn't need to try and get that bump to keep it in. The ball maybe would have gotten out because NYU hit it sky high for the set. However, you can't give up if you're NYU. NYU had an incredible run there, and that spike just showed that they're ready to play.
Yes, right when we were questioning, they came back. We'll step aside for just a moment, but we'll be right back in just a few minutes for the second set here. NYU versus Swarthmore here at Ben Light.
The roof and the basketball who fucked them over on that. No, that's what I said earlier. I'm like, the roof is gonna be a problem because then it just bounces in weird directions. I did not think that NYU was gonna come back on that.
Yeah, me neither. I really thought they were going to.
Honestly, I know this NYU team is good, but it was like looking rocky at the beginning.
Yeah.
But you know what? They bounced back.
They did bounce back. I'm curious to see how the rest of it goes.
Yeah. Bombers in half right now, 31-3 by the way. So
Well,
I'm
they
just
gave up
saying
points.
they gave up 3. I'm just saying 28 or 48-3 could still happen.
True.
It could.
It could.
If it does happen, I'm collecting my money. That's what's happening.
Not for me.
No, I'm stealing it from Tommy. That's what's happening.
You put a bet on it?
No. We're giving our predictions, and let's just say a lot of people were saying that it was going to be a shutout, and I was like, nah, it's going to be like 48-3.
You know what I'd do? I'd give you a pat on the back.
I'm just hoping for a bomber scoregami. I'm just hoping for a scoregami.
Bombergami.
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 Bombersgami.
Bombergami.
Bombgami. All right, I'm going to go probably when we hit like 30
Okay. Sounds good.
left, and then we'll send it.
Send it to Anthony Levante.
Oh my goodness. Don't do that. That's a little concerning. He might curse at Evan on air.
He might. He just might.
All right.
You want to go 30?
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back, folks, here to Ben Light Gymnasium for the Ithaca Volleyball Invitational presented by the Hotel Ithaca here on Bombers Sports. The Saturday slate, 4 games. This is the third one. It's between the NYU Violets and the Swarthmore College Garnet. Anthony Labonte alongside Nikita Lohman as the NYU Violets are currently leading this one set to nothing here in the second set. Nikita, what have you liked so far out of NYU?
I've been incredibly impressed by what NYU showed, especially in the second half of that first set. We talked about it. They just played a game before this. There could be some of that emotional letdown. They showed absolutely none of that. Tremendous fortitude. They were down 4 or 5 in the relatively late stages. They brushed it off, and they pulled out a big win.
Well, for Swarthmore, they started off the day against Ithaca. They won their first set, then lost 3 straight, looking to maybe change the tide, turn it to their favor, make it 3-1, whereas NYU comes off a 3-0 match victory against Smith College. But to start things off, it'll be Ava Lonsback, the captain for NYU, taking this one for the serve. Serves up, and it'll be ready for the set there. Knocked over by Inake for the Garnet. Big hit by Cho, looking to get over. Reach over the top. Grace Nelson picks up the first points for the Violets.
Grace Nelson led the Violets in kills in the first set with 6. Got number 7 there. Maybe pretty close to that over the net line, but no, she knows where she is on the floor, stays composed. Nice play there.
Lon's back at it. Flings it over to Iyer. Now Montgomery tries to get the spike. Won't go anywhere. Big shot there by Sarah Ludden for the Violets. Miles looking to get something for Swarthmore. The dig by Iyer, but it'll fall down and in. Violets now lead 2-0.
Sarah Lattin she had only played in 8 sets coming into this one, but pretty good efficiency last year, 1.34 kills per set, a hitting percentage over 200. It feels like she's been very active today so far.
Well, a service error there from a senior out of Los Angeles, California, will now bring it to the Garnet for their first serve of the second set. NYU currently leading 1-0 here at Ben Light Gymnasium, home of the Ithaca College Bombers. Topchu hits it for the set. Grace Nelson knocks it over. A little bit of blocking by Montgomery and Miles does not work. It falls. Violets now up 3, serving 1.
Battle of the 13s there. Grace Nelson, Kira Miles, they met at the net, but it's the purple 13 which stands victorious there.
Grace Nelson hits it, and they'll rule it in. Pasadena, California's own Grace Nelson picks up a point for NYU.
Paint in the corner to absolute perfection, Anthony. You can't place it better than that.
Nelson with the right. Iyer gets the dig, set up. Going for the spike is Adam. She just lays it with the underhand. Joe with the tap. Trying to go for the dig was Passmoy for Garnet. Was Madeline Mountcastle for the Garnet. But it will remain NYU ball as they pick up another point.
Nice placement right there once again. They can go hard and soft.
Nelson with the serve, Iyer with the dig. Montgomery trying to send it over. Setting it up. Spiked there by Laris Layden. Blocked by Layden once again. No, that was Morales. Setting it up for Isabel Adam to get the kill, and the Garnet now get another one on the board.
Felt like both sides were sticking with the soft stuff, trying to go with the soft touch over the net. Isabel Adams said, you know what, why don't I wind back and throw my best fastball?
Melissa Iyer will be the one for the serve for Swarthmore. Sienna Morales hits it over the top for the Violet. Set up. Nelson tries to hit it over, but hits it into the net instead. Another point for the Garnet.
Rare mistake from Grace Nelson right there. She's been nails all day long, trying to push it over from that 10-foot line.
Iyer with the leap. Going for it is Isabel Adam over the top. A couple of blocking battle between Hemingway and Morales. The poke by Layton, Sarah Layton for the team in gray. Back and forth. Here, the set over the top. Set up. Joe spikes it home for the kill. And the Violet get the ball back 6-3.
A little bit of tit for tat there. You saw Adam with the big time emphatic spike. Casey Cho matches her. She's already got 2 kills in the early going in the second set.
The freshman so far in this one has been a key factor as that one goes out for a service ace for the Violet. Sienna Morales takes it.
And that's just her second service ace of the season.
Morales sends it over, playing a little bump ball, setting up for Adam. Adam drills it home in the right corner.
Beautiful design and execution. Adam took a few steps back. The perfect loft up on the bump. She had all her momentum. She didn't have to deviate her motion at all. She put everything into that shot. There's absolutely nothing the Violets can do when it's structured in that way for the Garnet.
Maya Sheridan comes in and will be the server for this one. Bump by Nelson. Spike there by NYU. It was Barton with that last spike for the Violets. Knocked up. Eiler sending over to Adam. Adam hits it in between 2 and gets the point. Caught in between Cho and Topchu for the Violets.
Isabel Adam riding high off of a season high versus Ithaca. She's really impressed, using that frame to her advantage.
Sheridan with almost like a knuckleball over the top there. Knocks that one over is Layton. Spike by Adam. Knocking up. Chu with the right hand. Just a little tap. Sends it over the net and gets another point for NYU. 8 serving 5.
She may be a freshman, but that was savvy right there. Used the offhand, just bumped it over.
Jessica Ding stands far back behind the serving line. Running start, knocks it over. Higher will be the one who gets the dig as a big spike there comes from Angelina Hemingway for the point. There's the play by Adam with the serve. Isabel Adam. Grace Nelson goes for the kill, but it will get stopped. Isabel Adam sends it back. Spike there, tried by Stella Dillon. And in play that doesn't get blocked leads to a Garnet score, and it's a 1-point game here. 7 serving 8.
Tremendous focus, a few blocks back and forth. Swarthmore was able to stay with it, set it up for Anake to finish the job.
And the bump is up. Chu goes for the kill and gets it. Sends it right into the arms of Adam, who cannot make the defensive play.
This sure does feel like, Anthony, kind of a breakout game for Casey Cho at this point in the contest, as here she's serving.
The bump. Up there, getting the spot over is Inake, Alexia Inake. But Grace Nelson sends it right into the hands of Barleskite, who cannot get it over. 10-7 lead now for the Violets. Cho with the serve. Bumped by Adam. Set up. Spike there by Barleskite, and she gets it in. Big score. 8 serving 10 now as Angelina Hemingway gets ready for the serve.
And Anthony, that really is a big score. When you're already down a set, you can't let the 8-ball get behind you too much. Just a good job staying on schedule.
The spike by Nelson goes out. Point for Swarthmore.
This is the kind of swing that you absolutely need to see for the Garnet. You know the L3, it's in the back of their head. But they look comfortable here, even in a deficit.
And they'll call an infraction there. Give the point to Hemingway and the Garnet as she goes back for another serve.
Deficit, no more.
Knotted up at 10 here. Dig there by Cho. Sends it over. Knocked up. Set. Spike. Inake trying to get that one over. Set up. Big spike there by Barleskite, but will go out the back. Violets get the point and get the serve.
Actually,
they rule it in.
Anthony, that is as close of a call as it gets. That truly could go either way.
It looked like the flagger ruled it out, but did in fact point to the back line. So Hemingway got that serve. Spike here by Inake brings it to 12, serving 10. Hemingway still at the serve, but a timeout comes from head coach Andrew Brown of the Violets.
Anthony, all the love for Isabel Adam, and rightfully so, because she's been tremendous today, tremendous all season long. But again, when you talk about Alexia Inake, this is someone who was first team All-Centennial last season and led the team in kills. She was a huge factor. She's gotten going here in the second set. This is an incredible talent to have alongside of Adam. You can't forget about her.
You absolutely cannot, but something else of note here. Brown immediately after the timeout started talking to Nelson, try to see what the Violets can do to get back into this one. Granted, 2-point deficit is not that much, but back and forth contest here, a little bit more back and forth than they saw in that first matchup.
Yeah, and this is where you call on your captain, your upperclassman. Grace Nelson has been here and done that. In her junior season, she's had plenty of situations like this. If anyone on the hardwood is going to know how to bring themselves back into this set, it is Grace Nelson.
Hemingway will stay as the server. Looking to extend this lead, 12, serving 10.
A nice 5-0 run for the Garnet.
Garnet sent it, service ace by Hemingway, for whom the bell tolls, and that is Hemingway with the service ace, taking it up 13-10.
I liked that there, Anthony. Now make it 6 straight points for the Garnet when they absolutely needed it.
Nelson sends it over the top. Dig there. The set by Baraiskite goes over. Looking for the swat was Stella Dillon, but it gets blocked by Inake. Remains Garnet ball. Hemingway will go back for the serve once again.
Alexia Inake with her best Dikembe Mutombo impression, but you have to give props to Maya Sheridan. If she didn't make that one-handed sprawling dig, they would not have had that opportunity.
The digs, the sets, a bump goes over the net. Setting up there, will go for Baraiskite. Nelson with it, they'll rule it in, and NYU breaks the run of the Garnet, and the Violets will now gain possession down by 3.
And Anthony, is it a surprise that it's Grace Nelson breaking up that run? You call on your leaders in these spots, and more than likely they're going to make a play, as she did right there.
Trying to get it over is the libero, Caitlin Sato, but it will be a service error. So just as you get the serve back, you hand it right. It hands right over to the Garnet.
Yeah, that's got to sting a little bit for NYU. A really nice play to flip the tide, but now they'll have to force another side out.
Madeline Mountcastle's the one to serve it. It goes over by Stella Dillon with an incredible kill and gets the point back for the Violets.
And that's what they needed to do. Picking up a teammate, you have to give a ton of props for that.
Back to serve will be Ava Lonsback. She started the serve to begin the second set here.
And it's interesting that we really haven't called her name a whole lot today.
Montgomery with the spike. It gets blocked by 2. Nelson coming back with looking for the kill. Higher. Spike incoming by Inake, Alexia Inake, and knocks off the foot of a Violets player and heads out. Garnet get the point back.
Anthony, that's some tough luck. Casey Cho, I think she was going to let that stay. It looked like it was maybe going to go out, but her foot just happened to be in the way, couldn't move it from the line of fire from the ball.
Nicole Kim comes in for the serve for the Garnet. Spiked there by Miles, Kira Miles. Nelson flings it over with the bump. Kira Miles for the team in Garnet gets another point. 17, serving 12 here as the Garnet are leading set number 2, but NYU currently leads 1-0.
You have to tip your cap for the way that Swarthmore has responded in set number 2.
Cole Kim sends it over. Nelson sends it back. Nelson doesn't want to watch, but that little bump over the top by the Garnet hits a spot where no one is and allows for yet another point.
Going to the dump play. We haven't seen that yet today. Snuck it in right there. They get to keep the defense on their toes.
Kim sends it over to Top Chew. Spike by Nelson gets blocked by Miles but goes out. It will be Violet's point.
Again, it's Grace Nelson winning the battle of the 13s to put the 13th point on the board for NYU here in set number 2.
Still a 5-point deficit as Nelson looks for the serve. Higher. Over. Isabel Adam with the spike and gets the point back. So just as the Violets try to come back, the Garnet are there to answer.
They are refusing to allow NYU to build up momentum. The Violet came back in a similar situation in the last game in set number 2. They were down pretty big early.
The setup by Ava Lonsback does not go for Grace Nelson as it hits into the net. 7-point lead now with Iyer owning it, and a timeout will be from NYU, their second of the set. And so far, this second set has seemed to be all Garnet.
Yes, it sure has. I mean, you've seen Alexia Inake kind of come alive. You've seen Maya Sheridan very involved in the action, and she's had a big day so far. She had a season high in assists with 22 this morning to go along with 15 digs. You've seen her active in the front line, but it's those two big hitters in Adam and Inake who I think have set the tone. There's been a good rapport, a back and forth, switching off between going for the big time hits and then just flipping in the soft touch. It's keeping NYU honest. They can't bank on any one thing.
And Ava Lonsback has been the setter for NYU, able to set up a couple plays there, get a couple assists for the team to set up for Grace Nelson. What have you liked out of the Violets in this second set, even though they may not be leading on the scoreboard?
You know, I think that they've done a good job of getting good looks. It hasn't felt like they've been settling for spikes from behind the 10-foot line or sort of just putting push shots over that never really have a shot. They've gotten pretty good opportunities, all things considered. Frankly, Swarthmore has just been there ready to match them at every turn.
Melissa Iyer remains the server. 20 serving 13. 5 points away from taking set 2 is the Garnet. However, the Violets will not go down without a fight. Iyer sends it over. Top shoe with the dig. Setting it up. Big slap there by Sarah Layden. Gets the point, and now the ball goes back to the Violets.
Yeah, she was instrumental in that first set. She's been off the floor for the majority here of set number 2, but they put her on, and she makes a play.
Sienna Morales is the server. Miles shoots it over the top. Big block there by Angelina Hemingway, but does not go back over the net. It will be another point for the Violets.
That time, Coco Barton, they put a couple new faces on the front line. In fact, 3, as Chloe Lemons is up there as well. And it's worked so far.
The dig there by Iyer. Miles tries to send it over, but does not. Gonna see where they rule this points for. And his points for the Garnet. NYU making the argument that it was tapped by the Garnet.
Yeah, you saw both sides pleading their case to the officials. I believe that is head coach Andrew Brown not happy with the switch as you saw the line judge put up her flag. That would signal an NYU point, but ultimately they've ruled that this will go the way of Swarthmore.
The argument was that NYU did tap the ball before going out. Of course, you can't review it, so you can't say whether or not that's true. But there will go the point. As the ball hits off the top of Ben Light Gymnasium, has been an issue all day. Spike blocked, but it will remain a point for Swarthmore.
Well, certainly no question about whether that one went out of bounds. A nice effort getting up there, but you know, it's been such an impressive set. Down early, they've been down in this tournament, but the Garnet haven't showed that in the slightest against a really good NYU team.
Up by 7 right now, 3 away. The spike goes out the back. Now just 2 points away from taking set 2 is the Swarthmore Garnet. However, the Violets trying to keep their composure and get ready for a potential run back. Knocked up the set, going right on over to Chloe Lemons, who makes the spike, and it goes down. It will be a point for NYU.
They don't have a ton of breathing room, but there is a little bit of margin for error, as NYU could afford 1 point for the way of Swarthmore the rest of the way.
Jessica Ding sends it over. The bump, the set, trying to tap it over. Won't go. Adam. The dig by Sato. Sent over by Lemons. Nelson with the dig. Tap over the top by Stella Dillon. Spike. Nelson bumps it over. Bumped by Bardaskite. Set up. Spiked. Blocked. Won't go anywhere. Chloe Lemons picks up the kill for the Violets.
I think that's really our longest volley of the day so far. The focus, everyone is absolutely locked in, playing together on both sides. NYU with a great battle here late.
Ding sends it back. Knocked over the top. Ding hits it on the set. Bump. Knocked over by Dillon. Setting up for Adam. Adam with the spike. Goes out. They rule that the tip, it'll go to Swarthmore. So a tip trying to block it. It's a set point here for the team in Garnet.
Trying to close this one out. I like the call going with Isabel Adam here.
Bumped up. Ding sets it up, going for the spike. Now in the scaffolding of Ben Light Gymnasium. Iyer slides on the ground, but the Violet pick it up off of that inability to return the spike. Daniela Lane will be the server. She sends it to Iyer. Spike there by Inake will remain in the hands of NYU. They pick up the point, 19 serving 24 here in the second set. Still remains set point for Swarthmore. Bumped, spiked, Inake picks up the point, and the Garnet pick up the set to tie it up 1-1 here in Ben Light Gymnasium.
You have to be ecstatic if you are head coach Harley Choistick, because they played a fantastic brand of volleyball in a situation that frankly was not stacked up in the side of Swarthmore. They didn't show it. They didn't look scared. Nobody was playing in a timid fashion. Everyone was playing loose. Alexia Inake, who wasn't really a part of the first set, became a big factor. And going forward, I think that look no further than her. I think she is a game changer. If she's not on her A game, they're not going to beat NYU, but she has been in the recent going.
Tied 1-1 here. Set 3 coming up very shortly. NYU Garnet all knotted up here at the Ithaca Volleyball Invitational presented by the Hotel Ithaca here on Bombers Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I could have done a little bit better on that. But 44-3. Can the Bombers score 4 points? Two safeties. Hold on, I gotta pull up my document real quick to see if we get a score without me. So we'll both at least get 2 sets to call. Score dummy. 44-3 has never happened before. So if the score were to end right now, we would get a Bomber Gummy. Bomber Gummies. Hooray! If they can hold them to 3, the only other score that has 3 is 52 and 58. So, hope they don't get 52 or 58. But that would require, like, 2-point conversions and stuff. So, alright, you ready to go back at 30? Alright. What's up? I think you have to take a phone call. Oh, Nikita, you ready to do this? Oh, Nikita, you ready to call some volleyball?
I'm so ready to call some volleyball.
Oh, Nikita Loman.
Anthony Levanto here.
How do you say your last name?
Just Savern and Loman. But just say Loman. It's too much to say.
Okay. Well, I missed when we were gonna go in, so we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to game three of this quadruple header Saturday at Ben Light Gymnasium in the Ithaca Invitational. 2 sets have come and gone. The first one went the way of the NYU Violets. The second was a response by the Swarthmore Garnet. It's one apiece, and this is anyone's game. Anthony, at this point in time, is there an edge either way in your mind?
I would say not, because the first set was incredibly tight. It responded with a Violet victory. However, the second set seemed a little bit more lopsided towards Swarthmore, but I would not say, oh, by that victory, the Garnet automatically have a lead over the Violets. More or less, it's just the Violets need to respond to what happened and see how they can improve going forward.
And I think the focus for NYU here in set number 3 is just trying to avoid the errors. They may be down in the overall point differential, 48-44, but they have 9 more kills than the Garnet, but they've made 6 more errors. So perhaps an area that they focus on, try to clean up here in set 3. It'll be Madeline Mountcastle with the serve for the Garnet to open up this set. As they'll go straight to Sienna Morales, but she gets received on the other end. Morales, the deke, flipping it up, the soft touch, it lands for Sarah Latin. And she's on the board to start set number 3.
NYU has been great at doing those little soft touches, just teardrop drop inside there to get the points. 1-0 so far for the Violets.
Now Grace Nelson will handle the serving duties. Isabel Adam was there on the back line to handle it. Now they'll bump it up from the 10-foot line. Nelson with some heat. Nothing that Madeline Mountcastle can do to deflect that one in the right direction. It's a kill for Nelson, and it extends on her game-leading total of 12.
The difficulty there is just that you have your arms set for the bump, but if with the amount of speed that it is, it's very difficult to angle it. However, there's nothing difficult there when you get a service ace.
The only difficult thing is trying to play that back if you're Swarthmore. Placed it in a spot that just no one can go to, absolute no man's land. For Nelson, she had 8 aces last game versus Smith, and she's got back-to-back now. Rinse and repeat right there.
This is the kind of start for NYU that they needed after coming off that last one where there was a long stretch where the Garnet were just steamrolling over them. Honestly, now they're flipping the tables using their own momentum against them.
As another ace, 3 in a row for Grace Nelson. She's on a roll here to open the third set.
There's a reason why they trust her so much, and it's because of things like that there. She had 8 aces in the first game this afternoon, 3 so far just in a 3 span.
Now blocked is Miles. She'll go for another one. That one is deflected and landing inbounds. It hit off of Sienna Morales, but a kill for Kira Miles to get Swarthmore on the board here.
Nothing there you can do if you're the defense for New York University. Just the misdirection of the hit causing it to go out.
Nicole Kim, nice serve, but handled well. Trying to go across was Chloe Lemons, but she did not get the right trajectory on it. Lands on the side of the Violets is another point for the Garnet.
She was almost facing 90 degrees away from the net, which is very difficult to hit one over when you're standing at such a perpendicular angle.
Nelson from the back line punches it over. Kira Miles with the kill. Hit off of Sienna Morales. We've seen those two meeting at the net a couple times here early on. Nicole Kim stringing together a run as the server. The set, the slam. Latin is blocked. Isabel Adam is right there.
So after seeing the beginning part be 4-0, all of a sudden, a quick little run by the Garnet, allowing this to get even closer.
Truly in the blink of an eye, as here poked over, put into no man's land. That was Chloe Lemons to break up that run and bring it back to NYU.
Looked like Mario jumping to hit the mystery box there, but used the inside part of her hand rather than the fist to be able to hit it over and just get a little bit of momentum to swing it into the Garnet side.
Well, that time the mystery box shows one out of bounds. It's another point for NYU. Keeping the serve with Sienna Morales. Handled by Iyer on the back line. Adam pokes it over. Nelson with the set. The poke, Montgomery does a good job to keep it alive. Iyer had to bump it over, and she did. Big time finish, Chloe Lemons. Really getting involved here in the third set. It's 8-4 NYU.
That rally started with a strong beginning with the hard serve that sounded almost like slapping of a wristband or something against your arm, and then responded with that big spike.
Isabel Adams sneaking it into that back right corner. She's got a kill. Zinzi Montgomery checks out. Coming into the game is Angelina Hemingway, as it'll be Melissa Iyer's serve. Topchu handles it. It hits off of that roof again. They'll go back to Lemons. Topchu with the dig, but a violation. And that'll be a point in NYU's favor. Now going back to serve is Jessica Ding.
It was cutting a little bit close there to start things off, but now it looks like NYU is just settling in, taking advantage, getting back to their 4-point lead.
Mountcastle with the set. Miles tried to slam it home. On the other end, handled. They'll flip it up for Adam. The bump goes over Isabel Adam. There to capitalize.
Read that perfectly. Saw that the ball was just going to be a little bit over the net. Made sure to get her right hand on it. Smack it down. Get the kill. Get the points.
Now going back, it is Maya Sheridan. For spread along the back line for NYU. They'll flip it up. It's hit off of the net. Angelina Hemingway was up there. Point for Swarthmore. It's 9-7 now. That one flipped on the left side. Handled by the Garnet. Adam trying to go across the hardwood. A diving dig after it hit the roof there. Iyer pokes it over. And a violation. That'll go for the Garnet. They will be the beneficiaries, I should say, as it's now 9-8.
In this contest, NYU 15 different errors have been the issue, causing the points to differentiate here between the two squads.
Topchu handles that one. They'll go to Nelson behind the 10-foot line. She couldn't get it over the net. An attacking error, and this one is all nines. Sheridan. Grace Nelson there to handle. Lemons with the finish. Chloe Lemons fired up after she hammers that one home and puts NYU back in front.
Pins it in between two blockers and makes sure to know where the ball is going and make it hit out and cause the kill for the Violets.
A little delay there as the ball ricocheted off of the referee. Now in the hands of Daniela Lang as she pokes it over. The soft touch there from Dillon. Sheridan sets it. Hemingway bumps it over. On the right side, it's Dillon again. This time, they've got one more. They're going to have to poke it over, and it's Ding who does it successfully. Sheridan, the touch, Hemingway, it's in! Angelina Hemingway with the kill.
Just barely touched in. However, the slightest amount allows for the point to be given. Now knotted up at 10-all. The big difference between these two squads right now is who's going to get those last 2 points.
Adam with the service error. As there is a point for NYU, they retake the lead. Both sides have gone on runs, but now a little bit of back and forth action. Caitlin Sato there to serve. Iyer receives it well. Poked over. Nice recovery there. And a slam. Bringing it home is Stella Dillon. Second kill here in the third set for the right side. Hemingway. That one goes behind. She tried to sneak it into that back corner, something that the Garnet has had a whole lot of success with today, but that time couldn't get the placement down. It's 13-10. Flipped up across the set is blocked. Alexia Anake denied.
Stella Dillon with an incredible block there, using the two hands, keeping them together, and making sure to swat it down, keep it away from a Garnet point.
As there is a service error on that previous play, also credited with in a block assist is Sienna Morales. But now it goes back to the way of the Garnet after the service error, and Angelina Hemingway, that one dug out, but too much on it off of the fists of Duru Topchu. So it's an ace for Hemingway. That one deflected by Topchu, ricochets away. Stella Dillon with an attacking error. Now 14-13. Angelina Hemingway getting something going here for Swarthmore.
NYU having a little bit of trouble keeping it inside the boundaries so far. A little miscommunication there causes the Garnet to lose possession.
And you saw some deception from Sienna Morales. Looked like she was sort of jumping as a bit of a deke, but then no, she actually swung and hit it herself. Not sure if Swarthmore was entirely prepared for that one. It's 15-13. Big time swing. I-State, Bartiskate. She's had a heck of a game. Continues that with another kill.
Bartiskite had a wide open lane in front of her and took advantage of it to just slap that one home and get the big spike, big kill. 14-15 now for Garnet.
Mountcastle to serve. She gets it away. They go another similar look, cashing in Sienna Morales. Now NYU ahead 16-14 after the side out. They'll bring it back to Grace Nelson, who had a pair of aces earlier on to open up the set. Let's see if she can replicate that magic here. Nice dig by Iyer. Miles gets it on the back line. Kira Miles with the impeccable placement.
Things that right where the foul line, if you were to be playing basketball here, was, like you said, incredible placement there. Being able to hold this tight because all of a sudden it looked like it was going to be even closer of a game than expected before.
The tap by Lemons. Mountcastle just gets a hand under it, the diving dig. Now they'll flip it up for Latin. Kim digs it out though, they'll push it over. Iyer is there, the dive by Mountcastle, but that's too far away, and that is a point for NYU.
New York University keeping on top of this matchup and being able to stay up, leading by 2 right now, but if the service error will be a little bit of an issue. A couple of those so far have not been in favor of the Violets.
Too much on it from Sienna Morales. Now it's 17-16. Iyer gets herself a point. A service error there as Grace Nelson is unable to dig that one out.
Knotted up at 17 now.
Nelson handles on the back line. Tap by Latin, and she'll get the kill, rewarded with the soft touch. Now on the day, she's gotten herself 7 kills, a hit percentage up around 400 as she's had just 1 attacking error. It's been a very strong day. Isabel Adam gets it over. Handling it is Lemons. Kim, they'll need to get this one over. Hemingway, the one who pushes it across. Ding sets it up. Deflection out of bounds and a point for NYU. Chloe Lemons with the exclamation mark.
As the Garnet tie it up, being able to play off the blocks from the opposing team allows NYU to now be up by 2 and inch ever so closely to leading with 2-1.
Mountcastle to Adam. Isabel Adam, we haven't said her name a ton here in the third period. The third set, excuse me. But there, she adds her 11th kill of the day. Leads Swarthmore only 1 behind Grace Nelson for the most in this contest. Maya Sheridan prepares now, puts it up and over. Top Chew with the dig. From the middle, the spike handled. Adam punches it over. Ding. The set. The finish is too strong. Stella Dillon with the attacking error.
Nicole Kim did a good job on that back line to understand the ball was going to go past her, to not try to make any heroic move to put her arms out and potentially cause it to go off of her and out of bounds for a Violet's point.
Sheridan. This time it's Nelson who gets it. Lemons is blocked. That one goes up on the Garnet side. Soft touch. Good reaction there for NYU. Lemon flips it. Nelson jumping at the 10-foot line, puts it over. That one blocked. Lemons pokes it up, and they will rule a violation.
A double hit there against NYU gives the Garnet the lead for what seems to be the first time this entire set.
They were down 5-0 early on, but they flipped the script. To their credit, played a great set here. A brief pause in the action, and a timeout. Anthony, what would you accredit to Swarthmore's ability to turn this thing around?
Being able to understand the positioning of the field is a big thing. I mentioned that earlier. But also not letting your serves go to waste. Understanding that, hey, even if it's not an ace, if you can just get it over the net and allow there to be at least some sort of volley, there's an opportunity for your team to score. If you just hit it into the net, of course, it's difficult as a server to try and avoid it. But if you just hit it into the net, service aces have been a problem for NYU, whereas Swarthmore, no service errors would be crucial for them if they want to win this one.
Yeah, Anthony, and the errors have really been an area where Swarthmore has excelled compared to NYU. 9 attack errors for the Garnet, 18 for the Violets. And then when you look at service errors, it's 9-1, Swarthmore with 1. So that's really been the way to close this gap for the team that may, quote-unquote, have been the underdog. I say quote-unquote because when you watch these two teams play, you really do not get the feel that this is any type of underdog. These are two very evenly matched squads. The timeout is done. Both sides ready to get back out there. Maya Sheridan awaits eagerly. She dribbles the volleyball, takes those few ritual bounces. Now will step and go into her serve. Top Chu handles it. Nelson, strong flush, but Iyer is there to take it. That one will land in. Stella Dillon ties it up at 20.
Just a little bit inside, any bit more power, and that's going the Garnet way. The Violets have been able to keep this one close. They started off with the lead. They can't let that go. Need to bring this one back.
Nicole Kim was able to dig. Isabel Adam poked it over, but that was blocked. Stella Dillon, back-to-back big plays. First she shows off the 20/20 vision, then she gets up for the rejection. Daniela Lang, the dig by Adam. Now the go for her with the strike. It hits the ceiling. Grace Nelson with the kill. Continuing her fantastic day at the office as there's a timeout. It's 22-20 NYU.
NYU using that last timeout to come back into this one, now taking the lead. Once again, you need 2 points to take the victory, and right now it's been so tight between these two teams that you never know. It may see where we go to 27, 28, 29. Who knows, considering both of these teams seem evenly matched.
Anthony, it sure does have that feel. Anytime one team gets a little bit of breathing room, immediately that door is slammed shut.
What's going to be crucial as well is just whoever wins this set, how are they going to finish in the fourth set? Because that's the important part, is you not just getting to that point, but being able to finish that point. And right now, we'll see how these two teams do when it comes to just getting the lead in the third one.
It's very well said. The job is not finished at 2. You need that 3 sets for the victory. NYU with 1, they took set number 1. Swarthmore took set number 2. It would not be everything if it, of course, it would not be ball game for the team that loses this set, but very much pivotal. The percentage goes way up. As out of the timeout, a service error from Daniela Lang will bring it back to the Garnet and Isabel Adam.
Was saying earlier, service errors have been hurting the Violets. Now have to see if the Garnet capitalize or if the Violets get back, and they do get back.
A beautifully placed strike there from Stella Dillon, who has really turned it on here late in set number 3, as now NYU is 2 points away from closing down this set 3 win and taking a 2-1 advantage. Sheridan with the set from the back line. Adam. It hit off of the net. It's handled. Grace Nelson will push it over. Bardaskate. The set. Hemingway gets the kill. She knocks it over. Caitlin Sato wasn't able to handle it. Now it's 23-22. Back and forth they go. Hemingway. That one dug out by Top Chu. Dillon. Sheridan gets the dig on that. Bardaskate over the net. Top Chu flips it up. Nelson gets the kill, and that now marks set point as it's 24-22 NYU.
Nelson was able to play off the blockers and knock it out the backside there, be able to keep it even closer, 1 point away, and no one better you'd rather have back there than Ava Lonsback.
Lonsback on the day, she's got 25 assists. Anake with the touch pokes it over. Nelson hits it out to Iyer across the court. Bardaskate with the double hit, and that will do it for set number 3. a back and forth battle, but NYU takes it home, and they've got a big 2-1 set advantage. Anthony, take me through the thought process here if you're Swarthmore, knowing that you need to be perfect in the last 2 sets.
The thought process is, as you said, be perfect. Not even just be perfect. Hold your own. Don't go out there and just expect NYU to start putting on the brakes and preparing for a set 5. You have to make them go to a set 5. You have to earn the ability to play a set 5 if you're the Garnet. And right here is where Coach Swastik is going to be drawing up some plays and getting ready to have our team go in and get ready for this 4th set.
A big set upcoming, so don't go anywhere. We'll step aside for a moment, but when we return in just about 2 minutes, it's set 4 between Swarthmore and NYU here at the Ithaca Invitational.
Five,
25 seconds until set 4 here on Game 3 of Saturday's slate of the Ithaca Invitational, presented by the Hotel Ithaca here on Bomber Sports. Anthony Labonte alongside Nikita Lohman as NYU currently leads over Swarthmore 2-1. However, one of the tightest games of this entire Invitational coming right now. Potentially set 5 could happen if Swarthmore were to come back into this one.
And you know, at this point in time, Anthony, I would predict that we will see a set 5. Albeit the Garnet, they'll have to take care of their business to get it to that point. But yeah, it's been extremely tight. Swarthmore, despite being down 2-1, they have more points. It's 70-69. NYU, they're on top in this game, really almost in spite of themselves at some point. It's been the errors that have held them back. If they could have a clean set, I think they could really take control in the later going.
As most coaches will tell you, you don't just get wins. You have to earn wins. And here for Swarthmore, they have to earn a set 5. But the Violets are not going to go down without a fight, looking to take this 3-1. However, 2-1 right now. Ava Lonsback will be the server for the team wearing their lovely violet. Knocks that one over. The dig by Iyer. Set up. Punched over by Inake for the first point. The Garnet get on the board first.
That's a good way to set the tone. Alexia Inake with some deception there. She goes up on the right side, but smacks it across to the left, and it falls where no violets stood.
Alexia Inake goes out. Nicole Kim comes in. Topchu gets the bump. And there is Grace Nelson once again with the spike for the kill.
Grace Nelson was fired up after that one, and rightfully so. She put some serious velocity on that swing.
Nelson goes up, spikes it for the serve, sends it up, Big hit by Miles. Kiara Miles. Back over. Looking for it was Chloe Lemons. Back on over. Blocked again by Montgomery. Point for Swarthmore as the ball goes into the net. Montgomery showing like it's just every single day. She knows what she's doing. It's just light work.
Everything is hard fought in this game. I would be very much ready to say this has been the most highly contested game of this invitational so far.
As the spike goes out, it remains Garnet point 3 serving 1 as Iyer goes back there for the serve. Melissa Iyer, Centennial Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year last season. Bumped up. Wands back, sends it right on over to Leda. And the attempted spike by Adam does not go past the net. The Violets get the serve now, 2 serving 3. For the bounce back there is Sienna Morales. Set up, Miles goes for the kill. Won't get anything. Lemons gets blocked. Hemingway with that big block. Punched over is Mountcastle. Spike, Mountcastle gets the dig. Kim. Miles tries to get it over, but does not have the touch. It goes into the net. Knotted up at 3s here as Morales goes back for the serve.
Yeah, nice combo block right there. You saw a few in there. Sienna Morales, Amia Cooch Butler.
Adam gets the kill. 4 serving 3. Coming in is Maya Sheridan and Ista Bardaskite. And Sheridan will be the one for the serve. Goes into the arms of Lemons. Lemons with a spike. Dig by Kim. Topchu sends it up. Giving the floater is Sarah Luton. Topchu over to Lemons. Lemons hits it up. It gets blocked. Big block there by Amia Kuchibula for the point and 4-4. NYU.
Also saw Chloe Lemons in there. Nice job. They're not letting anything go easy. They're meeting the Garnet at the net on every single play. Whether it works or not, that's another thing, but they're handling their business as well as they can.
Jessica Ding and a miscommunication on who was getting the bump there. Service ace goes for Ding.
Yeah, you saw both Angelina Hemingway and Isabel Adam. Hemingway probably didn't realize that Adam was in position to make a play.
Ding flings it over. Bumped by Iyer. Adam back on over to Satan, but a big spike try down there by a Hemingway. And it'll go with a receiving error. They will call it a kill, though, for Angelina Hemingway. Back to 5-all.
Yeah, that hesitation from Grace Nelson. She wasn't sure if she wanted to attack that ball, and that's what cost them there.
Trying to get it over is Lemons, but it gets blocked. Set, spike, no go. Coming inside, Grace Nelson tried to hit it over, but just pounded the net. It'll be 6 serving 5. Garnet once again take a lead. Adam. Nelson did not need to hit that, but she does, and it will be a service ace for Isabel Adam.
Anthony right there. I heard on the sideline someone yelling in. So maybe a bit of an interesting miscommunication or understanding, because from our vantage, it looked like that was going out.
Well, that one stayed in. Amia Kuchabula gets the spike and keeps this, so now it is a 1-point game.
Yeah, we haven't called Kuchi Butler's name a whole lot, but there she is right in the middle of that front line. giving NYU a bit of an edge.
Looking to get this one back over. Spike there by Stella Dillon. Puts it over once again. I'm repeating myself, but this one is tied. It is 7, serving 7, as Daniela Lanes gives the serve. Looking for it is Adam. It'll be hit by the libero for the Violets and will be a point for the Garnet.
The deflection there threw that all off. Adam had it with some velo, but that changed trajectory put NYU a little bit out of position.
Angelina Hemingway comes in. She had a service ace in the second set. Looking for the spike is Nelson. Won't get it. It'll be another point for the Garnet.
And that's more of what we've been saying has been the bugaboo for NYU. We've seen a couple service errors here in the fourth set from Grace Nelson. Excuse me, not service error, attacking error. But we've seen a few of those, and that could come back to bite them in such a close game.
Knocking it back, they'll set it over to the Violets. Spiked by Nelson, knocked up in the air by Hemingway, but no one's in the area.
That time, nice job making the adjustment. Nelson got up, knew how much loft to put on that one.
Lovely Ithaca athletic staff making sure that the ball does not hit a fan in the crowd.
That was good. That was heads up. Quick response time there.
Going for the dig, but it'll be a service ace for the Violet. Big play there by Caitlin Sato. Sato. Sato trying to break up this tie, but it'll be a service error. So she did break up the tie, but not the way that she was looking for.
Isabel Adam was savvy right there. She was on that back line, thought about going and making a play, but she turned her hips, said, nuh-uh.
Service error there coming off of Madeline Mountcastle. So back-to-back service errors keep us tied.
Anthony, this game is such a back-and-forth battle that they even match each other on service errors.
It's like playing against a mirror.
It truly is. This is fun to watch.
Back there is Lonsbach with the right. Knocked up in the air. Punching that one over is Miles. Kira Miles. Nelson drills it off the side of Inake. It goes out. Point for NYU.
This is where experience is so essential. Grace Nelson, she made a couple mistakes, had a few errors. Goldfish memory, throws it to the back. She knows she's made so many great plays before. That's what flashes in her head. She's never discouraged by mistakes.
The bump sends it over by Kira Miles. Set up, goes for the spike, gets the kill. Sarah Luden. 12, serving 10. NYU looking to take set 4 in this entire match.
Sarah Latin standing at 6'3". She's just got a higher reach than most of the other players on the floor, and it pays off to her advantage. She's got great placement when she spikes.
The bump there, set up, tips it over is Inake. Spiked. There's Adam. Montgomery brings it down and in. 11 serving 12.
Zinzi Montgomery, generally more behind the scenes, not really much of an attacker, but there she shows off the good prowess getting the kill.
Back there is Nicole Kim. Kim with the low rider. Nelson, though, returns to sender with the spike.
Once again, Anthony, that one came in hot.
Like an Araldis Chapman fastball there. Grace Nelson gets the spike for the kill and will now serve it. Bumped up in the air. Mountcastle. Spike by Miles. It goes down and in for the kill. So while Grace Nelson picks up a kill, Kira Miles picks up the kill. Now it is 12 serving 13.
The battle of the 13s. Who said it's done?
Higher. Lemons looking for it, but it'll be a block out of bounds. Violet take it over. Excuse me, the Violets take it over.
NYU getting a little bit of breathing room. Every time that's happened, it seems like the Garnet have closed it out.
And that is a service error going against Sienna Morales.
Yeah.
Service errors have been the story of this fourth set.
They sure have, especially for NYU. That's now up to 12 service errors on the day, compared to 2 for Swarthmore.
Maya Sheridan will be back there with a double bounce in the serve. It goes out. Another service error.
It really is the theme right now, Anthony. That's 4 in the last 5 plays, I want to say.
It absolutely has. 15 serving 13. Both teams' final games of this invitational. Sending it over is Jessica Ding. Trying to get the tap over. Won't go. Last hit effort. Spiked by Lemons. The dig comes in. Adam knocks it off. It'll deflect off the blocker's hands. It will be a point for the Garnet. And what could have been a disastrous situation turns out a benefit for Swarthmore.
And you think that they don't want it. Look at that play. Everyone is hungry. You see Nicole Kim laying out. You see different players giving it all that they have.
Isabella Adam with the line drive. Dig there by Iyer. Brings it over. Bump. Ding. Puts it up in the air. Knocked by Stella Dillon. Going for the spike. Won't go. After the block. And Nake gets it over, but it gets swarmed out. A big spike there by Amiya Kuchibutla. Puts it through and gets the possession back for NYU.
Massive side out. Kuchibutla has been standing strong in that front line. NYU 9 points away from closing this thing out.
Serve goes in, coming off the left side, but they spike and the kill comes from Isabel Adam.
Nice job pushing that thing over. She jumped right behind the 10-foot line, snuck it right into the middle of the floor. No one there for NYU.
Hemingway comes in, sends that one low but over the net. Bumped up. Set. Adam spikes it. Gets the kill. Tied up at 16 once again.
Isabel Adam is dangerous today. Should I say armed and dangerous? She's armed with an absolute rocket of a right fist. When she connects, you're not really going to want to stand in the way.
Hemingway not able to get the dig, and NYU takes the lead. 17-16.
It really has been a treat watching these last 2 sets. These 2 teams are about as even as it comes here at Bentley Gymnasium.
Knocked over. Bumped up. Set. Spike. Gets right over the net. Isabel Adam barely sending it over, but does, and gets the kill. 17-17.
Isabel Adam is feeling herself today. That's count 'em now. 16 kills right now. 23 versus Ithaca this morning. 39 on the day.
Madeline Mountcastle sends it over with the right palm. Big spike there comes from Sienna Morales and gets the kill.
She did a terrific job there. She cocked back that right arm, sort of in a bit of a funky manner. Brought in a little bit of deception, but then added some velocity, gave more time for that arm to come home. Brilliant play.
In comes the serve from Ava Lawnsback. Spike goes out. Adam misses her target. Now a 2-point lead for the Violets. Andrew Brown on the laptop, coming up with some plays for the crew. Mountcastle, Montgomery, bumped, trying to get it over. Big block there by Inake, and gets the point for the Garnet.
Off of the deflection, Alexia Inake. She's having herself a bit more of a quiet day, but that is kill number 8.
Spike by Kim into the net. Service error. Back. Now it's 20-18.
Yeah, and when you're down, you really can't afford to make those mistakes. You got to force NYU to beat you. If you're Swarthmore, they'll try to fight back and force a side out.
Bumped over. Knocked. Madeline Mountcastle. Miles tries to get it over, but it will not go. Another point for NYU, and that block was by Amia Kuchi-Butler. Timeout called.
Down the stretch here, Amia Kuchi-Butler has made some big-time plays in some big moments. You have to give the tip of the cap. Sitting on the bench for a little while, not really getting those legs nice and fresh, but she seemed ready to rock and roll this whole fourth set.
Absolutely has, and now NYU 4 points away from going 2-1 in the Bomber Invitational. However, the Garnet look to come back from a 3-point deficit in an attempt to send this to a set number 5.
Yeah, this is tight, and I can't emphasize enough. From here on out, Swarthmore, very little wiggle room to work with. You simply cannot afford, especially service errors. When you get possession, they just cannot afford to hand a point to NYU. They need to be clean, calculated, and crisp with their attack. That's the only way. It's only a 3-point deficit. There is time, but it's dwindling fast.
Once again, it's win by 2, 25 win by 2. So if you get to 25 first, doesn't automatically mean that you win.
Yeah, and with the way this game is going, I don't think either of us would be surprised if we see the winner put up about 28, 29 points.
Grace Nelson sends it over. Bumped by Kim. Bumped by Mountcastle. Sent over by Iyer, the libero. Spike by Lemons gets blocked. Lemons again. The back line helps, but does not send it to a teammate. Point goes to NYU, 22 serving 18.
A good effort from Nicole Kim, but the placement was phenomenal. She gave it all she had, but when you're diving like that, it's hard to direct the ball exactly where you want it to go.
Nelson with the serve. Kim, bump, set, spike. Adam goes out, 23, serving 18, 2 away from cementing this game. Timeout, Swarthmore.
Good timeout here. Refresh a couple of tough plays. They fought hard, but it didn't go their way. Now you get the opportunity to reset. Look, you only have 2 points to work with. You can't slip up. You really just can't afford it at all. But this is a team that is extremely talented. You can't be too tight in this situation. Don't play like you know you can't make a mistake, because then more than likely you will make a mistake when the thought is in your head. I think that's what head coach Harley Chwostek is talking about in this huddle right now, if I had to guess.
Important aspect of this game as well, especially this set, has been the service errors. Grace Nelson will be the one serving when we get back. A service error could switch the momentum of this game, or it could cement an NYU victory.
It very well could, Anthony. It's going to be fun to watch the end of this one.
Absolutely, as Coach Brown breaks up the huddle.
And I think everyone, naturally all eyes on Isabel Adam. Does she have anything ready in her bag? Have they drawn up a play for her to flip the momentum Swarthmore's way?
Grace Nelson hits it up. Bumped by Mountcastle. Adam knocks it over. Big defensive play by the Violets. Spike by Adam. Drops in, but gets bumped away. Knocking it over in between two defenders. Saves the Violets. They are match point from taking this one and leaving the South Hill with 2 victories in the Invitational.
Well, the Garnet did have a play for Adam, but unfortunately for them, NYU just had the answers to the test. They were ready to go.
Nelson sends it. Dig by Kim. Knocked up. Adam. Spike out. NYU takes the victory. 3-1 here at Ben Light Gymnasium for the Ithaca Invitational, presented by the Hotel Ithaca. Anthony Labonte alongside Nikita Lohman saying don't go anywhere, because coming up, the postgame show with Farrell Hudson and Ethan Duncan comes up, and then game 4 of our 4-game slate, Ithaca College versus Receiving Boats Smith College, here on Bomber Sports.
You want to host? Sure. Okay. We'll start? Yeah. When do you want to go? 30 seconds, something like that? Sure. Minute, give it a little breath in between? Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple main talking points. Dude, trust me, I'll be good. Okay, yeah. I'll be good. Dude, I'm going to be totally fine. I literally watched the box score. No, I know. I'll be fine. 9% of the things I say are fixed. Yeah. You watch? No. Okay. I totally will, but you ready? You said 30? You want to go? Sure. All right, 3, 2, 1.
We've got post-game of NYU and Swarthmore. NYU defeated Swarthmore 3-1. What do you really think the key of that game was, Farrell?
Yeah, Ethan, great to be back with you here on postgame, and it all came down to consistency. We mentioned it in the pregame, and that's exactly what you got from NYU, despite maybe what was a bit of a haphazard second set in which Swarthmore was able to capitalize. Very similar to what you saw earlier on when they took on Ithaca this morning. For the most part, NYU staying consistent, and you look across the board, the consistency overall really solid. You look at Grace Nelson leading the way, but a player that I want to point out who's making that freshman impact early and often has been Stella Dillon. We mentioned making her debut as a freshman today. She comes right in and assimilates herself into a role. Already 10 kills on the day for Stella Dillon today, a 19.2% hit percentage, a block and a half, culminating in 11.5 points. That's the second most points behind the captain, Grace Nelson. This is great experience for a freshman, Ethan. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. This tournament is the best thing that can happen to these 4 teams. You have right now a 9-4 team in Smith College that takes on Ithaca. You have Ithaca, who's 7-3, and maybe that's one of the best 7-3 teams you have around right now because they have grizzled experience against 4 nationally ranked opponents. Played and that now take on an opponent that's receiving votes for the top 25. Ithaca being in that number 20 role. Very similar in competition. I'm excited to see how that happens. But more back to the point of this game. That's the point of emphasis for Andrew Brown and NYU. Staying consistent. They've played a tough non-conference slate of opponents, but they're proving it to be positive here. They finished the tournament 2-1. We'll look to see if Ithaca goes 3-0. Swarthmore, a bit of an unfortunate turn for them right now. As we mentioned in the pregame, a bit of our concerns with their struggles should they get once into conference play. They're not really playing any nationally ranked opponents anymore, and they have a 6-all record. They're 17-10 last year, so it had taken an 11-4 run, which it very well could in the Centennial Conference. They were runners-up last year. But to get back to that watermark, things are having to look up a little bit more for them, but for the most part, I think NYU did what they had to do, what we anticipated they would from the beginning of the game, which was just control the game pretty much utterly from start to finish.
This is a pretty close, back and forth affair. Besides that second set, I'd say it was pretty much knotted 18-18 in the 3 set wins that NYU had. What do you really think is the way that NYU is able to pull ahead, it's last 7 points and just get these wins in a 4-set win?
It starts by Grace Nelson, but it's just like Ithaca. We mentioned kind of the freshman-on-freshman impact, and you saw it on full display exhibited in last night's game between Addison Ledbetter and a player now like Stella Dillon that you see immersed into that spotlight. Every team has their star, and we understand that. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu on the Ithaca Bombers side. Well, that's the key, and that's the case with Grace Nelson with the Violets. You knew what you were getting today. That's not a surprising mixed bag that you get 18 kills in a game like this from Grace Nelson, but you look at players like Coco Barton. They step up. They have 4 kills, half a block. How about half of a block contributed by Nelson? Sarah Latin got some key time off the bench
absolutely,
today.
in that first game.
In that first game against Smith, and we saw it on full display, Ethan. Sarah Latin was really positive there in the front court, almost the same impact that the sophomore Brianna Owen has on Ithaca's end. So it takes whole team contribution. I know it's cliche, but you see that often with the really competitive teams, hence why NYU and Ithaca are consistently in NCAA regionals versus on the outside looking in. So a bit of an uncharacteristic start for the Violets this year, but when all's said and done, they're still 7-4. I think that's a really good sign for them heading into conference play.
Yeah, and Latin in the first set when it was 21-22 as they're down one, huge kill there, and then gets another one when it was 23-23, gets another huge kill to make it 24-23. So that's huge stuff there. And then talking about the freshmen, we have we talked about Stella Dillon. We also talked about Casey Cho was huge overall, along with Jessica Ding on the serve. So just a lot of freshmen here. Goes back to the depth. That's kind of really like what gets these teams ahead. And there's definitely a lot of that for this Violet team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the impact that Jessica Ding had earlier, Casey Cho, they were really solid, especially some of the dig efforts that Casey Cho put together. That was especially notable in that game 1 against Smith. That's the game that I look at being the most impressive. You have a veteran group with Swarthmore that might be a little bit down right now, but they're led by leadership. Harley Schwastik being the coach, that can have the single greatest impact. One of the reasons why the Ithaca volleyball program is where it's at right now, under the tutelage of second-year Tara Stillwell. Yes, the amazing pedigree Stillwell brought, not only as a player but an assistant coach here, but her time spent over at Cornell University. But it was Johan Dulfer building up the program in all the years, the 10 years he was on the South Hill after coming over from Clarkson University. So it really comes back to the coaching, especially in a team-oriented sport like volleyball. It's not like basketball where you can have one player step on the floor and assert his utter dominance and take over the game. You don't have really any LeBron James-like scenarios in volleyball. Yes, you need strength. Yes, you need height. Yes, you need a lot of speed, but you need a lot of stick-to-itiveness, and that's what these coaches impress upon. So, yeah, am I a little shocked to see Swarthmore 0-3? Absolutely, but in the same breath, too, NYU did what they had to do today.
Yeah, I think we're going to end the post-game show here. I'm Ethan Duncan, joined by Farrell Hudson. Have a great one.